Talk to Terry from North Platte, Nebraska. KJLT is the station. Hello, Terry. Welcome to New Life.
Thank you very much for the invite, and thank you for your missionary. I appreciate your work.
You are welcome. I've actually spent an entire night in North Platte, Nebraska.
I'm speaking there in March.
Beautiful country. Beautiful country.
Be sure and let us know when you're coming so we can join you.
Okay, we'll do it.
My question is, my wife and I have been separated for 5.5 years.
Wow.
Last week on one of the programs, or maybe a week ago, I don't remember, one of you made reference to the fact that if someone has a personality disorder and you try to get too close to them too soon, too quick, you may only get so close, and that's as close as you'll ever get.
Yeah.
My question is how do you help those people?
How do you help those people who might have a disorder that will only let you get so close? We will answer that when we come back. All right. Talking with Terry, he wants to know how do you get close to somebody who doesn't want to be close, and boy, she doesn't want to be close. They've been separated 5.5 years. What do you think, team?
Well, anytime somebody has a personality disorder, Terry, there's like 10 of them. And they all have different characteristics, and they're all very hard people to connect with. They all push you away, pull you away, push you away in a variety of different ways that they do that. I think I just said the way 12 times in a row,
Yeah, I think
but
you did.
I think I did. But anyhow, it's very hard to be close to those people because they have a very serious injury on the inside that causes them to desire a relationship, then ultimately sabotage it. So really, there's a great book called Stop Walking on Eggshells by Mason and Krager that is an excellent book. And the first third of the book is about getting your life back. And that's one of the things you must do to establish a sense of who are you as an individual. And then you must invite them in to have a relationship with you at a level that they can enjoy with you. And in that case, participate in. If they can't, then basically you set the ground rules for entering into that relationship. And that would be one suggestion I would make. Sherry, Steve, what would you say?
Well, I totally agree, and that's a great book. I used it as well with some of my folks that I'm working with. And I think whenever we hear the word personality disorder and we start labeling somebody, I like to kind of peel that back, usually for people, to help them to see what is the person underneath. Because really, personality disorders is just a label that we've come up with in the world of therapy. But what happens is it's usually someone who's been hurt deeply,
really
who's
bad.
frightened, who has created some scaffolding around their lives, and this funky chicken dance, like you said, that keeps people away.
Funky chicken dance.
Yeah, it is. You get into relationship with them, and it gets really complicated.
Yeah.
And so you've got to have a really solid core, Terry. You've got to really work on who you are and how you feel safe, and knowing when something doesn't feel safe, to be able just to say, you know what, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I'm not going anywhere. If we can just work through this, I'm here. I just want to hear what's going on for you. And when we start moving towards that person and we just kind of call it out instead of pretending or running away, most of the time people with like a borderline personality disorder, you feel like you want to run away from them. But they do that as a defense to keep you away. And they don't get healthier and you don't feel better. So what have you done in your relationship? What's your dance position been in your relationship, Terry?
Well, I've read the book, Walking on Eggshells.
All right.
I've done a lot of things. You know, I've had to set borders. I had to set boundaries up because, you know, whenever we were together, things would come up that I couldn't control, and it just spiraled out of control.
Right.
Yeah.
I just can't. You know, I can't do that. So, you know, I've done a lot of things. I've been to a weekend with you folks. I think I'm probably okay, but my thing is I can see by the way she acts with the rest of the family that she's not happy.
Well, but you guys have been separated 5.5 years.
Yeah.
Are you tired, Terry? Do you want to be in this relationship?
Um, that's a difficult question because I'm Catholic. I believe that this is the relationship that the good Lord put me into for my life.
Uh-huh.
So there I am.
Yeah.
All right.
And I believe that. And I don't want anything different than that.
All right.
Unless the good Lord wants it.
But what I hear you saying is you're committed, which is great. You're just trying to figure out how to be with your wife without her spiraling out of control?
Yeah, without it always being, like I tell her, I like to have some type of relationship with her. But, it just can't happen the way it is because, she's hurt from something. I realize that, and that hurt turns to anger, and that anger is directed at me a lot of the time.
Uh-huh.
And not only me, but other members of the family. If we don't just do things that are just exactly the way she expects that they ought to be, well, then she's upset.
Terry, one of the interesting things that Sherry just said, she used the word scaffolding. She said these people create a scaffold. But what's interesting about that scaffold is very internal. And that's why it's called a personality disorder. It is so much internalized. It's so much a part of the fabric of their being. They don't even see it's there.
No.
A scaffolding would be easy to see. Oh, I see there's construction going on here. Look at the scaffolding. Mm-hmm. But these internal defenses are so internalized and well built and fortified that the average person with a personality disorder has no idea that they have this, diagnosis.
Okay. Now let me cut through all of this real quick. I want to go to a point. They've been separated 5.5 years.
Yes.
You believe she's a vacillator, perhaps. Don't know, but I kind of think that's probably the case.
It's a borderline would be an extreme vacillator.
Okay, so what's a way he could re-engage this relationship? What is the best path of, he's been calling saying, I want to have some kind of relationship with you. Let's give him some help on, okay, that didn't work.
Well,
maybe here's what
I think
could
what
work.
happens is with someone who's borderline or a vacillator, it's the anger that scares most people away. And I tell people you've got to unpack the anger. Underneath the anger, there's usually one of two things. There's hurt or fear.
If she gets angry, then don't take it personally.
Right.
See to it that it's a symptom of hurt or fear.
Yeah. And so you just start going into the hurt or fear. And you ask them, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
That's it.
So she says, I'm tired of all this. And then you say, that really must hurt you.
Yeah.
Versus, don't get angry at me again, or you always get angry, or I'm doing my best. She said, man, that must really hurt.
Yeah.
Well, at the very heart of a borderline is an abandonment issue. So if you say you're afraid you're going to be left, you're afraid you're going to be rejected, you're afraid you're going to be pushed away, you're afraid you're going to be ignored. I personally believe that it's important if a person does have that they be told they have that.
Yeah.
So they have something to work against. And so if they were in my office, and a good therapist will oftentimes sit down and say, well, somewhere on this continuum of the vacillator borderline continuum, you're on this, and you need to own that if you really want to grow. Yeah. And perhaps Terry's on the avoider pleaser continuum, and if they want to grow, they have to know that.
Right.
So each person has to own what it is they're working against, and I personally believe in truth at this point.
Do you know I have given your book I work with narcissistic borderline couples, right?
Yes, and they go together, by the way.
They do. Okay,
yes.
So this is the thing, is I give them your book, How We Love, and there's something very palpable about reading I'm a Vacillator and how you guys unpack it. And I have had more borderlines relabel themselves and start looking at the behaviors and stop looking at the label, and it all of a sudden moves them into attachment. It moves them into connection. They start owning their issues.
And you're brave enough to go there, Sherry.
I am, because I'm not afraid of it. I just go, let's call it what it is, and let's start looking at it from an attachment perspective.
So God's into truth, isn't he?
He is. He's totally into
Which
truth.
is a little bit different approach than when a therapist goes, well, I hate to tell you, but I know it's going to be tough for you to hear, but your borderline personality. I mean, that
horrible. Yeah. And it feels so entrapping and hopeless to people.
Back to Terry.
All right.
Terry called for advice. Got a vacillator wife. Terry, is there anything we've said that would help you, that you could do something in a different way to get closer to her?
I've tried a lot of those things.
Yeah.
When she frustrates her, I call it a blow up or just whatever. I've tried to say, just what, just tell me why are you here? What brought you to this point?
Any way she'd go to a New Life weekend with you, stay in a separate room?
She won't. She has told me just plain flat out she's not going to no psychiatrist.
Well,
Okay.
we don't have psychiatrists.
I know that. I've been to one years, but
Okay.
no, I don't know whether she.
So,
I'd try it. I'd at least ask
so
her.
the answer is you may not be able to get close, Terry. You just may not to.
Yeah.
You just may not be able to.
But you could move closer to her.
You can try, but if you're
But not
rebuffed,
expect.
if you're
Yeah.
rebuffed, sometimes the people that walked away from Jesus, he let them walk away.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the reality of people's conditions.
Right. The other borderline book is I Hate You. Don't leave me.
Mm-hmm. And you're probably caught in that, Terry.
Yeah.
You're probably caught in that with her.
It's tough. You're a great man for persevering.
Yeah.
And the Bible says that those who persevere will receive the crown of life. Doesn't say those that are perfect, because nobody is. But you have a persevering spirit, and I think God will honor you for that. We'll take a break.